Okay, so not too long ago, Steve was revealed and broke multiple websites, this one included, which reminds me, you better go check to see if you're subscribed, because the power of Funny Blockman's reveal may have unsubscribed you. I'm gonna give my honest thoughts on how I see the remainder of the second Fighters Pass playing out. And I like to do this every now and then because it's fun to speculate who else could be joining an already amazing roster. And we have 4 slots left, and I don't know if it's been said yet, but there's no plans for anything following DLC 11, and I'm going to take that into account, along with the fact that Steve is proof that Nintendo is listening to fans, which I will also be taking into account. And feel free to drop your predictions down in the comment section, as we will likely have varying opinions, and it's fun to argue with people on the internet. The next fighter, aka DLC 8, could be revealed at the Video Game Awards this year. If they don't, I think there's going to be some kind of Nintendo Direct or Sakurai Presents in January after the holiday craziness. But if they do a character reveal at the Video Game Awards next month, I could see the situation being similar to Joker, who was also revealed at the Video Game Awards back in 2018, and then releasing about a month or so later. My reasoning for this is the second Fighters Pass is expected to finish by December 2021, and there's been no mention from either Nintendo or Sakurai that it will be delayed into the following year. As for who I think it's going to be, Steve coming to Smash has kind of confirmed a bunch of rumors that have been floating around for a while for multiple reasons. He's been talked about for a long time, but it was also confirmed by Mojang that this deal was about 5 years in the making. And I remember there being talk from some people who have inside sources that Ryu Hayabusa from Ninja Gaiden would be coming, and truthfully, after finding out that this deal has taken 5 years, I can see that happening. Keep in mind that there's also a separate rumor that a Ninja Gaiden trilogy is supposed to come to the Switch in March 2021. So the timelines kind of line up, but then again, Smash has never really been one to be used as a tool to promote other games. So I'm going to give the spot to Ryu because we need a second Ryu in the game to make things super confusing. As for who I want, I still think Dr. Eggman would make a killer fighter in Smash, and Sonic's 30th anniversary is next year, but again, that also is never really counted for much. I think the only character whose anniversary has lined up with a reveal is Little Mac in Smash 4. Don't quote me on that, but I don't think there's been any others. Then we have DLC 9, which I think is going to be at E3 next year, assuming there is an E3. And much like the last 2 E3 reveals, of which I assume Steve would have been one of those 2, I think it's going to be a big-name character and one that might resonate more with the West, because E3 really is a big Western event. Also, think about the last 2 big reveals that happened there. Steve and Banjo. I would just have a hard time going to sleep at night if somewhere in this pass we don't get Crash Bandicoot. And stacking him up to all the other 3D platforming icons only makes sense. And I've been calling Crash since early 2018, and I'd be shocked if there wasn't a big E3 2021 reveal. He could also just not be in that specific slot and come later in the pass, or be next, but I do think that he may have the best chances of any character out there. This isn't even mentioning the fact that Crash 4 just came out. Amazing game, by the way, you should play it. And it's more than likely going to come to the Switch sometime next year as well. Now, DLC 10 is the biggest question mark for me. I think the other slots we can make pretty educated guesses given the patterns that have led up to this point, and Nintendo could very well pull a double reveal at E3 2021 like they did with Hero and Banjo last year, but I do think that's a bit less likely this time, but I wouldn't completely count it out. Some other big characters that have been thrown around a lot are Lloyd from Tales of Symphonia, a game that I've never played, but I do know that Lloyd is one of the missing returning Mii costumes along with Geno and 1 or 2 others. Dante from Devil May Cry is another one along with Doom Guy. You have Gen 8 Pokemon like Rillaboom or Toxtricity. Phoenix Wright, who technically already has a moveset because he was in Marvel vs. Capcom 3. And 2B from Nier Automata, to name a few. Out of all these characters, I've been saying Dante since January, and I'm going to stick with that prediction. One of my original guesses was actually Travis Touchdown, but he ended up being a Mii costume as well. But if it does end up being Dante, I could see the Lloyd costume being revealed alongside the actual release of Dante. Lastly, for DLC 11, I think we're finally going to see Geno, and I'm going to put my bias aside here because he still is my most wanted character, but I think things have been looking better and better for him with more recent reveals. Min Min coming out nullified the entire made-up Spirits Can't Be Characters rule, not to mention that Geno's Mii costume is still one of the few that have yet to return. I don't think it's just going to be forgotten about, because Sakurai made a pretty big deal of it in Smash 4. And yes, I understand that there's the Geno will never come to Smash group of people out there that are very, very hurt by the fact that people actually want him in the game, but take into consideration how many Square Spirit events we've seen in the last couple months. They're clearly on board to continue to support Smash. I just find it hard to believe that after all this time, they would string people along this far only to make him a Mii costume again, knowing fully well that the demand is there, whether you believe it or not, whether you're on the side of the fence where you want him in the game or not. He's the last piece of the puzzle of characters who would, in quotes, never come to Smash, along with characters like Ridley and K. Rool. Why are you booing me? I'm right. Sora is the other Square character that is constantly mentioned, and also could happen if Disney wants to play nice. In this case, I could see Geno getting the deluxe Mii costume treatment like Cuphead or Sans got. Also, look at Bomberman. It didn't come with a music track like the other two did, but he still seems like a deluxe costume given how well the model is put together, and the fact that you could change Bomberman's colors. So I wouldn't be too upset if that happened, because he still would be in the game in some capacity. But I'm gonna make the call and give the last spot to Geno, because ending the past with a character that has been speculated about since the Melee days feels like a good way to round off the roster. Now, whether or not it'll happen, this is my burden, and I don't expect any of you to help me carry it. So those are my predictions. Short and sweet: Ryu, Hayabusa, Crash, Dante, Geno. They've shifted a bit since my last prediction video, but this is how I see the remainder of Smash's DLC playing out. And be sure to drop your best guesses down in the comment section, and we can revisit this next year and see if it has aged like a fine wine or if I am drowning my sorrows. Not to pat myself on the back here, but I have done a couple DLC predictions that have aged pretty well, so let's hope that this is also one of them. See you next time.